we're standing here is because there was a theater located here. It was called the Rex Theater. What's left? The projection booth, the ticket box, the restroom. The walls were corrugated metal. No roof, but we had seats. You could purchase popcorn, sodas, and candy for 5 cents, and that was a great bargain. Our other alternative was to take the bus, go downtown to a segregated movie, enter in the back, go up in the balcony, and see a movie. This is our neighborhood, and we chose to come to here. I continue to advocate for this community, although I don't live in the neighborhood.
That's where it all really started for me. Going into high school, this school was the very first school that allowed 9th graders to come to high school. 9th grade at Lanier was at Tafoya Middle School, which is right next door. So in 1975, they decided to build this beautiful school for $6 million. My first influence at this school was my printing instructor. Mr. Fred Reininger would always tell us, be a leader, not a follower. You gotta believe in what you wanna do. So he was my very first inspiration. So coming to Lanier, I always thought, you know what, I'm gonna be different. I was the guy who sat over there all by himself. Then I couldn't do what I'm doing right now, no way, because I was extremely shy. I grew out of that, as you can see, wanted to start my own business. We have 2 publications, and I was very blessed to have that opportunity. This is what drives me every day. When I look at my wall and I see this, I'm like, things are tough, but I sure as hell not gonna give up.
My career started when I was 14. My father was a tile man. He did that kind of work, and I was his helper. But this time he said, you're gonna go with me, I'm working for this man, you're gonna cut his yard. And that man turned out to be Porfirio Salinas. Porfirio Salinas was the most famous landscape artist in Texas. I was 14. I was real impressed when I saw his work. He was very, very generous with me and invited me into his studio. And that's the first time that I saw a studio. He said, try and go to a school that has an art program. In the 60s, 67, a group of us decided to create a Chicano art group. Created this consciousnus for the rest of the young artists that were coming behind them. And that has now really affected San Antonio in a way that the rest of the country now is looking at us. The movement was 10 years old, 60s to 70s. That was a real movement. After that, the organizations, all of the people that were dealing with with the politics kind of disappeared, but the arts remained.
The first location in this part of town was established in 1947 at a place they used to call La Casa Blanca. We had a clinic down here in Castroville Road, Stella Mars Clinic, which was providing services to all the children in the area. If you could afford it, you couldn't afford it, it really didn't matter. So every year it's getting bigger and bigger, and the organization is growing, and we're very proud of the work that we do. Believe that if we have good quality programming, the funding comes.
This is where we grew up. So there were 3 generations, 3 blended families trying to make it all work. And there were hard times, but it worked. What I wanted to do was to kind of paint a picture of how it was on the west side during the 50s and the 60s. So here we were on the wrong side of the tracks, a feared place, an isolated area. But it was a neighborhood where when people walked in front of a church, everybody made the sign of the cross. If you went into a West Side home, you always saw at that time a picture of John F. Kennedy on the wall next to a picture of the Pope. So in this isolated, feared area of town, families celebrated everything, especially life itself. We made our own cascarrones, we made our own piñatas, Our brothers made their own kites, and it was just a very warm and welcoming area. Everybody knew each other, everybody took care of one another. I have beautiful memories. I've lived in several homes after I left the West Side. And I didn't leave it because I wanted to. There was no housing, nothing to rent, nothing to buy. But I didn't go very far because, you know, we don't ever want to leave our mamas.